Building farm fertility. When you're doing organic regenerative agriculture, you are looking to build the soil health so that you're going to grow nutrient-rich plants. But to reduce cost, you want to do it in a way that you're creating an ecosystem that then supports itself. So as part of the grant, we included a few things. One was a biochar kiln. Now, biochar is an amendment from waste materials, generally started out being slash from forests, that is burnt, crushed, and sifted. And then you can use it in many ways on your farm. We included kilns for the farmers to make their own biochar on site. The rationale behind biochar and the kiln is that the biochar creates a structure in the soil for the microorganisms to exist and to stay close to the root of the plant. And in many cases, when we have pulled up plants, we've seen the biochar stuck to the root. The process of biochar, we will fill the kiln, we will burn it down, we will cool it rapidly, and then crush it and sift it. In our case, the process takes 3 to 4 hours. The other thing that we use on farms is compost. We strongly suggest that every farmer has a compost pile. Now, a compost pile, 3 feet tall, 3 feet wide, with all of your yard scraps, works really well. But for a 1/4 acre, you may want to increase that size. The more waste you have from the garden that you can include in the compost pile, the more compost you make to go back to build the fertility. In addition, if you have chicken, goats, rabbit, sheep, cows, horses, and can gather the manure from those animals and compost them properly, then that's additional fertility that you can add to your farm. The other thing about compost, you know those really annoying things we call weeds or plants in places that we don't need them? Things like stinging nettles, dandelions, our curly dock, purslane, comfrey. All of those things can be added to your compost pile and composted because they're actually really rich in minerals, very good for your plants. Other things like fish emulsion, seaweed, seawater, raw milk can be added to your compost pile to create a complete compost. Vermicompost. As part of the grant, every farmer was given a worm bin. And I will tell you, many of them exceeded the capacity of the worm bin really quickly and expanded their vermicomposting. Worms will digest compost and poop worm castings. And those are nutrient rich and microbially active and serve as a wonderful fertilizer for your garden. Another amendment that we use is compost tea. Compost tea with fermented plant juice and leachate from black soldier fly larvae bins. We make a compost tea not just with compost, which works really well, especially if it's complete compost. But if we ferment old plants, spent plants, or collect the leachate, the liquid, from our black soldier fly larvae bins, or if you don't have access to either one of those, you can purchase humic acid and fulvic acid to add to your compost tea. Those are all things that increase the vitality of your compost tea. That gives you a wonderful boost to your garden. At Delaterre Permaculture Farm, one of the things that we do is we use a biodynamic compound to prepare compost tea. And we do so in a 5-gallon bucket by stirring it in opposite directions for about 20 minutes to create a vortex and structure the water. And that structured water with compost really helps to invigorate our plants. If you're interested in further reading, here are some terrific resources. Interested in digging deeper in restoring your soil health? The Complete Guide to Restoring Your Soil Health by Dale Strickler is an unbelievable resource. The Regenerative Grower's Guide to Garden Amendments, using locally sourced materials to make mineral and biological extracts and ferments by Nigel Palmer, serves as a wonderful resource for reducing your input costs. Kelpie Wilson puts biochar on the map with the Biochar Handbook. Not only does it talk about how to make biochar, but she goes into detail on how to use it in different ways on your farm. If you are interested in digging a little deeper, a biodynamic manual, Practical Instructions for Farmers and Gardeners by Pierre Masson, serves as a wonderful resource for biodynamic agriculture. The Worm Farmer's Handbook by Rhonda Sherman takes vermicomposting to the next level. This is a valuable, value-added resource for your farm. Building farm fertility can be done in many ways. There is biochar, there is compost, there is vermicompost, there is compost teas that can be added to your soil. Any or all of these will assist with building the fertility of the soil.